there. I'm Nadira Jamal, hostess of the Belly Dance Geek Clubhouse online radio show. Welcome to this special interview series with some of the instructors from the 2015 Las Vegas Belly Dance Intensive. The intensive is now in its final year and will be held for the last time on September 10th through 13th at the Flamingo Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. To make sure that you don't miss out on this epic event, visit bellydanceintensive.com. My guest today is Sabrina, who will be teaching Seismic Shimmies. Sabrina is an international champion belly dancer who teaches and performs worldwide. She's featured in the Egyptian film Citizen Bourse and just released her new video tutorial on Mahragan Shabi Egyptian-style street dance, available at roxtv.com. You can check her out at sabrinabellydancer.com. Thanks for joining me, Sabrina.
Oh, thanks for inviting me.
Can you tell us about the workshop that you're teaching at the intensive?
Absolutely. Seismic Shimmies is something that's been evolving for years because students are always asking me to break down how I do the different beat matching layered shimmies. And I started using the Richter scale model in terms of size and frequency. It just seemed to work, and then the title came and the whole project came together. But the really fantastic thing about this is we go back to the basics in terms of which muscle groups create which movements and how to control the size, how to control the speed, also how to control level changes, layering. So it's good for beginners, but it's also good for even professional dancers because these are things that you can use to, shock and amaze your audiences to be exactly literally looking like the music sounds.
And what are some of the advantages of being able to shimmy, at different points on that Richter scale?
Well, because sometimes you'll have something soft and loose, like a canoon, and that's not going to be the same as somebody banging full force on a tabla, and so we need to be able to visually represent the different qualities of sounds that are present in all good pieces of music, because a really good piece of music that you want to perform to is going to have all of these variations, and you want to be able to show your audience.
And what are some of the different components that go into helping you make those different scales, shimmies?
Well, the first thing is we need to listen to the music, and we need to decide if it sounds light and fast, if it sounds heavy and slow, or there's thousands, infinite variations. And so what we do in the Seismic Shimmies workshop is we learn to use our legs and our hips and sometimes our feet if we want to travel or change levels. We use all of these different components to match the different aspects of the points in time in the music that say to the dancer shimmy. Because we should only shimmy when the music sounds like a shimmy. It's not something to throw in like a cherry on top just because you know how to do it. There has to be a reason to shimmy. And so we pick apart that reason to shimmy, and then we construct in the speed with the knees and the ankles. And sometimes, especially lately with all of the new recording techniques, sometimes the shimmies in the music will transfer from one side to the other because of the way it's recorded in stereo. There's a million different variations. And so what we look at is what exactly are we hearing, how many things need to be represented, and what are our choices in representing that. And then we synthesize all of this, put it into combinations, and then the students can take it home and apply these same principles to the music that they work with regularly.
It sounds like that's a really valuable lesson in musicality, even totally apart from shimmies. It sounds like just being able to listen for that degree of dynamics would be helpful for any music.
It really is. And because, because what we do is often a literal representation of what we're hearing, it's really important to be able to dissect what we're hearing, analyze it, and figure out what are we going to do to make the audience see what our ears are hearing, and until we pay close attention to the music, putting it under a microscope like this, I think sometimes people don't go as deep as they possibly could. Maybe they didn't realize. I mean, I'm very, very nerdy with the music and the musicality. But I think when you deconstruct things to that level, eventually working with that kind of model, it'll get into your subconscious. So even if you're improving to live music, your body will eventually learn, okay, this is 4/4 and it's very fast, and I'm going to use my legs to be the shimmy, and I'm going to use one vertical hip circle to show the tonality of what the drummer is doing. There's infinite possibilities, but it gets into the brain and it gets into the muscle memory the more people practice, and it does help overall musicality. It forces attention to detail.
I love that geeky approach. That's just how I like to learn.
Oh, good.
Which leads me to my next question is, who do you think this workshop is the most appropriate for, or who might not like it?
Well, I think it's most appropriate for people that want to go to the core of why shimmies look perfect when they're used in this manner. It's appropriate for people who want to understand what they're listening to. It's appropriate to people who want to learn how to layer their shimmies in interesting and different ways. It's appropriate to students who want to learn the basics of shimmy layers, and it's appropriate for advanced students who want to really fine-tune that perfection in the difficult drum solo, or even in a Canoon break in Emergency. It's really good for everybody. It's good for tribal dancers, because tribal dancers often get more live drums than we do right now in cabaret style. So it's really, really important to work with the music and to become the music. As far as who it's not appropriate for, it's not appropriate for people who just want to wham bam through something, or somebody that's looking for a very square 4/4 choreography. We're going to go a lot deeper than that. So if someone's looking for a real surfacey exercise only experience, then they should probably look at one of the other classes.
All right. And can you tell us how you got interested in this topic, or why you decided to offer it for the intensive?
Well, this is something I've been developing for a while. I was truly blessed to be raised on Egyptian and Lebanese bands, live music, Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights in Los Angeles, in the nightclubs and the restaurants. And we were forced, it was do or die. We were forced to be able to do this in front of Middle Eastern audiences, to improvisational music every single week. And I didn't really realize what we were doing at the time until I became an instructor. And then when I was teaching my students, my local students, we were talking about, why does it look like that when I do it? And some of the beginners would say, well, how come mine doesn't look like that? And the short answer is because I've been doing this for more than 2 decades. But the long answer is because I'm hearing the music in a different way than a beginning student would. And that's just because of how I was trained and what I was forced to do in my nightclub career. So we deconstructed that for the students. And it grew from there. People would say, they would make comments about my drum solos and how did I match things even though it was improvisational. Well, having the muscle memory, and it's like one ear towards the audience and one ear towards the drummer, and the brain ultimately synthesizes all of that so that you can almost subconsciously anticipate the rhythm patterns, and your body will know what's going to make sense with it if you practice a lot. So this turned into a class, and now it's turned into a full workshop, and I'm hoping at some point it'll turn into a DVD.
Excellent. I'd like to pull out one little thing that you mentioned. And that's, the difference between listening as an experienced dancer and listening as a beginner. And I think this is one of the things that really impresses me, and to me looks like the difference between an accomplished dancer and a dancer who's actually great, is whether they're listening for those little subtle, it's the nuance. It's not
Yeah,
skill, it's nuance. It's not what you can do. It's how many little bits in the music you can show me with fewer things. And in a lot of cases, that's kind of the dividing line between the advanced student and a real professional. So, even if folks are, really pushing to get to that next level, in some cases, learning more stuff isn't necessarily the way to do it. It's being able to do more with the vocabulary you have.
absolutely. It's all about how you use the words that you know. We don't need to know every word in the language, but we need to be eloquent with the words that we know. Somewhere on YouTube, and I should have had a link, somewhere on YouTube is a video of one of my heroes, Nagwa Fuad. If you don't know who Nagwa Fuad is, please go look her up. She is standing in one place and doing a very long shimmy solo to a single violin. And it's so stripped down, but she is absolutely becoming the music without moving her feet, using very simple repetitive motions, but it's the intensity and the levels and the speed and the very small shapes that she uses. It's like a poem with very few words, but it's absolutely eloquent in its perfection. So sometimes doing less can be more appealing if you do less with eloquence and experience, I think.
Is there a tip from your session that you could share with dancers that they could start using right away?
Absolutely. And I think we'll call it pre-workshop homework. What I want you to do is to pick a drum solo that you're already very familiar with. But I want you to listen to it with a new ear. I want you to listen to the drum solo and think about it in segments. Think about when one type of rhythm begins and when it ends, when it transitions into the next segment with a different type of rhythm. Think about the intensity that it's being played with. Think about the speed changes and try to match those just with a regular knee shimmy, standing in place, nothing fancy, nothing extra special, but just start to tune your ear. It's almost like tuning an instrument before you actually play it. Go through that drum solo that you already know and just beat match the different rhythms with a simple knee shimmy, and that may start opening the door towards thinking about music in a whole new way.
That's really good advice. So, what are you most excited about for this year's intensive?
The most exciting thing for me every year at the Las Vegas Belly Dance Intensive is seeing everybody. Honestly, it's like a giant national reunion, and it's it's one of the best places to see friends from all over the country and all over the world. There's some people that I only see online and social media, but we know each other for years and we only see each other at events. But I know that we're going to see each other at LVBDI, and I'm so thrilled to be able to attend and see everybody this year. And I'm also heartbroken that this is the last time for the event.
It's sad.
I know.
But it's been
What?
so exciting to be a part of it.
It's been wonderful, and I'm so grateful to Samira and the whole crew because it's a massive production. I mean, until somebody produces an event, I don't think they have any idea what could possibly go into creating something, and this is huge. So we're really, really lucky that they've been doing this for so long and that they've given us so many opportunities to learn and network and shop and see fabulous shows by the best in the business.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining me, Sabrina.
Well, thank you for inviting me. This was really great.
And thank you, everybody, for listening. If you'd like to hear more from Sabrina, you can check her out at sabrinabellydancer.com. Or better yet, join us at the intensive. This is the last time that this epic event is going to be held, so don't miss out. You can register at bellydanceintensive.com. And to listen to more interviews with our fabulous instructors, visit bellydancegeek.com/Vegas 2015.